Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to our April 35th anniversary video. Since our kickoff, we've covered training and warranty, but we've kept everything pretty domestic. This month, I really want to expand and discuss our global presence. So I've got a couple of people I hope we can catch an interview with, so let's make our way through the facility and see if we can ask them some questions. Actually, before we get through the facility, let's check out our timeline we have set up here in the lobby. It kind of goes over where we've come from and where we're going to. You see here, Glock, or 1986, Glock opens in the United States. We have the Glock G20 and G21 in 1990s. Then you can see how fast we've progressed from the mid-90s all the way up to our 35th anniversary this year. It's pretty incredible to see how far we've come and how much we have grown. So now let's see if we can catch these questions. Hopefully he's in here. Oh, perfect. Mr. Shelby?
Hey, what's up, man?
We're doing our 35th anniversary video. Do you mind if we ask you a couple of questions?
Yeah, go right ahead, man.
Perfect. How is your day going today?
Pretty good. It's actually a very quiet day. My computer's still updating. It's been updating for about an hour now.
So not too busy today?
Well, every day is busy, just how you able to manage it. So.
That's
No,
true.
but it's all good. It's all good.
So, Shelby, for everyone in the audience watching, tell us what your title is here at Glock, what your background is, and basically just who you are.
My title is the Director of Marketing and Business Development, and been here for about a little over 3 years now. Prior to that, I was in the Marine Corps for just under 27 years, 17 years in the infantry, enlisted infantry, and then I transitioned over to become an infantry weapons officer, and I retired as a chief warrant officer for 4.
So what was that military experience like for you? You know, you said 27 years. That's a really long time.
Well, coming into a weapons manufacturing company here, it helped me understand from this perspective what it's like to be in the trenches, what it's like to be down on the ground for the people who have to use it.
Right.
Later on in my career, I started working more of the requirements for products, training, developing the training for the products, and also understanding and developing future strategies for the military.
Sure.
So that right there really helped me understand how to help within the business development mindset of pushing the company into different areas and understanding how to get there. It's not easy.
Right. Now, do you think, your previous life, that work in developing training programs with the products, the strategy, the leadership experience, do you think that has truly benefited you as you entered this role here at Glock?
I believe so. Yeah, absolutely. Just the leadership, just understanding how to deal with people. People are first. They're the main effort for us here. Is people first, perfection always. So I believe, my time in the Marine Corps and my travels all over the world in places, some are good, some are bad.
Right.
But understanding people in general really helped me understand how to work within this company and also how to focus on our customers.
I really love that saying you said. People first, perfection always. I'm going to keep that one in my pocket for a little while.
You might hear it more.
So, all right, a lot of the fans, a lot of the audience, they know Glock as being, domestic leading firearms manufacturer, but that's not all we are. We are also a global presence, a global brand. So what are some of our global entities?
We deal in health. We have G Science. Excuse me. We have a horse performance center. 2 locations in Austria and in the Netherlands. They're focused on the equestrian. They're very. I'm not very familiar with equestrian and stuff, but they're known as one of the best places for training and development of horses and everything.
Sure.
We have Eco Energy, which is based around wood fire
Mm-hmm.
and developing energy through those wood pellets and everything. And we have Glock Aviation. The aviation is designed for regional transport. It's private, so if you wanted to schedule a private charter plane, you can use them. They'll even transport overseas, as they do sometimes with our own, with our president coming over here, Mr. and Mrs. Glock coming over here. That's how
Right.
they'll fly over.
But Glock Aviation is not for any like weapon shipments or anything like that.
No.
Okay.
No. That's no.
So it serves a larger consumer purpose.
Absolutely, it's a private charter jet. It's very nice on the inside, and again, like all these other locations, these other companies, the purpose behind these companies is about people.
Right.
If you fly on Glocky Aviation, you're going to be treated well. With the Horse Performance Center, the horses are treated well.
Right.
With the energy, it's always looking at the best health, everything like that. It's always looking at how to give the best to the consumer.
Right. And speaking on the Horse Performance Center, I've been there numerous times over my 6-year tenure here, and I can tell you that is a state-of-the-art facility.
Yeah.
It's absolutely incredible there.
Yeah, I haven't been there. I heard it's amazing.
It really is. Being able to watch the show jumping and stuff, and I'm in the same boat. I don't understand a lot of the equestrian stuff, but I know that it is incredibly important to Mr. and Mrs. Glock, and the facility is absolutely beautiful.
They love horses.
They do.
I mean, they love animals in general. It's like but they really love horses.
Yeah. So, with us having these different entities and being such a global brand, what is the synergy, the commonality between all of these brands?
It's Glock.
Glock.
It's what Glock stands for. It stands for perfection. It's always maximizing customer satisfaction. It's pursuing perfection, meaning that you're never perfect.
Right.
You can always fix it, but it's understanding that you never settle. Always look to make it better. They're happy now, but they're not going to be happy tomorrow. So how can we continue to make them happy?
Right.
And it's not easy. It's our mission statement is perfection. So it is it's a tough, challenging mission, but it's fun.
Right.
If you have to enjoy that type of environment and understand what it's about. It's about people.
Right.
It really is.
And I think being able to be a part of that growth and rolling with the challenges and being a part of the leadership and experiencing all of the difficulties and challenges that we face on a day-to-day basis to make sure that the people and the customer are always happy. I think that's also an incredible feat that speaks to the brand.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it doesn't matter what you get. I mean, if you're not happy, we go out of the way to try to fix it.
Right.
It's never. I don't know how to explain that. It's just we really care about people.
Right.
And it's not about how many products we've sold or anything like that. It's just about giving them quality.
Right.
So they know regardless what they're getting, what they're paying for, it's going to work.
Right.
And they're going to be satisfied with their product.
Now, what do you think, or what would you say, is not just our manufacturing facility here domestically, but globally? What do you think, or what would you say, our overarching goal is?
To satisfy customers' requirements.
Always customer first.
It is. It's when you forget who your audience is, you fail. It doesn't matter what you do. You have to know who your audience is. And ours, our customers can be very demanding too.
Sure.
They want certain things, and we want to provide those products for them. Sometimes it takes longer than others. It's just because until Mr. Glock signs off on it, it's not perfect.
Right.
And even then, it's like we always find ways of developing it and making it based off of technology. If new technology comes into play, we will use that technology to go into it and to try to make it better.
Now, with all this being said, we've discussed the different entities that we have, our global presence. Mm-hmm. What is the future of Glock? What can we look forward to in the future?
There's a lot of goodness coming. I'm not going to tell you. You have to wait. Certain things just not ready for release yet. But there's a lot of good things happening. The future is very strong. It's and it will again. We are not. We're not in a position to worry. Like it's going in a good way.
Right.
I'll tell you that. So.
Well, I like to hear that the future is good. I like to hear that goodness is coming, and I think everyone is excited for us to have a bright future.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, me too. Definitely, it's but it's there's a lot of we're evolving mm-hmm. with times, but in a good way. So.
Well, I'm going to ask the age-old question that everyone out there has been asking for 20 years, and who knows what the answer will be. When is the rifle coming?
We are looking into it.
Looking into it?
Yeah.
I've heard we are looking into it for 20 years.
How old were you?
20 years ago, I was 10 years old.
10 years ago.
10 years old.
It's very, very difficult to develop a product that's saturated the market. And then you got to look at our mission statement.
Yeah.
And to put that on there. We look at everything. If you look at our history, you've seen what we've developed in the past. It's like we could develop anything, but
right.
It's not about developing anything and everything. It's not about making a profit. It's about people. It's about getting them what they will want.
Right.
So, but
well,
if it comes out, I'll let you know.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have it from the man himself. If it comes out, he will let us know. Mr. Shelby, thank you so much for talking with us today about, really our expansion globally. Like I said, there's so many people out here who only know us as being a domestic manufacturer. So this is something that I don't have a lot of knowledge on. So these conversations are really incredible for me because I get to learn so much about us globally. And for you to say that our future is filled with goodness and has such a bright road ahead, it's really reassuring to hear. And I assume them as well are very excited to see what comes next.
No, I am too. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun time.
Good. Well, I'm glad to be a part of it. And thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Much appreciated.
Yeah, no problem. Take care.
Yes, sir. So that was a brief look into who we are as a global brand and a global entity. I have one more person I really want to interview, so let's see if we can catch her real quick. Am I able to ask you a couple of questions?
Hey, Shane, of course.
Perfect. So, Miss Carly, how's your day been so far?
Yeah, good. Busy.
Always busy, huh?
Always.
So, for our audience out there, what is your title here at Glock? What's your background? Where do you come from?
Yeah, so I'm the export manager. I've been here since 2011, always in international sales. Came here from a brief career in federal law enforcement. I was a law enforcement ranger with the National Park Service in Yellowstone, so big difference. But when I decided to leave that line of work, I thought, where might I fit in? Both my parents were cops, my brother's a Marine, so don't really know anything else, and thought, a gun company, I could love that. I'm married. I've got 3 kids, including twin toddler boys, so I don't know what keeps me busier, Glock or the twins, but, it's a competition every day between the two.
Yeah. What is that like on a day-to-day basis?
It isn't like anything on a day-to-day basis because no 2 days are the same. So we work with our international sales managers who are all around the world, and we help them develop, order documentation, whether that's at the beginning of a tender for a foreign government project or, a commercial project, we work with the U.S. government licensing authorities on export licensing. And then we also work internally with our manufacturing, planning, logistics departments to make sure that we're building product on time and shipping it while, upholding, of course, all of the export regulations. And then we're also kind of the first line of defense for international customer service.
Now, how do you think this affects our global presence, working with all of the international customers on a day-to-day or weekly basis?
It gives us a flexibility as a global Glock company to where we can really work together between all of our factories and really leverage that flexibility. So we can maximize our manufacturing capacities, preferential trade agreements, export licensing abilities, and then also freight costs, so where we can make sure that we are keeping our product on the shelves internationally at stable costs, regardless of what's happening. And you look at the last year that everyone has dealt with the breakdown in the global supply chain. We've had cargo lanes drying up, and then of course the increased firearms demand everywhere. It's been the perfect example of not keeping all of your eggs in one basket, because we've been able to maintain our presence internationally really without much interruption.
Now, you said a lot about like the import-export laws. Is that regulated per country, or how does, I know there's a lot of information, but how does all of that kind of work?
So the U.S. government really takes a diplomatic approach on who they do and don't license to. They know they're making a statement if they deny a license for a country. So you obviously have, our prevailing set of laws is the U.S. law, but then you're absolutely correct. Every individual country has their own regulations for import, and then on top of just for imports of firearms imports, and then sales to civilians within that country. So that's where we really rely on quality, knowledgeable partners that we work with in each country, where they're really the subject matter experts, and we know that they know exactly what they need to be doing to uphold the laws in their country, because the last thing that we want as a brand is for our product to kind of get in a jam internationally.
Sure. Now, navigating all of those different laws and stuff, working with our international partners, and you've mentioned numerous times international customer, what would you say like our overall goal is for all of our international customers?
Perfection is so important when you're talking about supplying firearms internationally. Example, warranty issues. If a customer in the U.S. has a warranty problem, they can seek out one of the thousands of Glock certified armorers that are out there to help them, or they even have the option of shipping their firearm back to us for us to work on. Obviously, that's not that easy internationally. So we really work closely with our partners in making sure that they have the right training where they can provide that armor service for us. We really encourage them to stock adequate spare parts so where they can service that firearm. Most of our international partners, for the commercial side at least, they're kind of the face of Glock. So really preaching that perfection all the way from us to them as the point of sale for our foreign customer.
Now, this is a question that I'm curious of, and I'm sure the audience is curious of this as well. What is our most common pistol internationally?
That's a hard question. Our customer base internationally is so diverse, from Thailand to Argentina to Canada to Australia. But I think even with all of the various laws and restrictions, probably the G19 is the best seller.
Really? I totally would have said a G17.
I think maybe just its size difference. Not everybody's built like, barrel-chested Americans, so.
I love to hear it. So now with you working, so closely on a day-to-day basis with all of our international customers, what do you think the future is for us on a global scale?
It is that continuation of perfection. Making sure that we continue to value our international customers, our international partners, that we continue working with our other entities across the globe, because there's so much strength in numbers, and we have amazing capabilities within all of the different areas within Glock. Really kind of redeveloping back into that, we're stronger together. And then continuing that down to our international partners, making
Right.
sure that we're not just the leading brand of firearms, but also for after-service support and for training internationally.
So I think that goes back to what you said before about perfection and how we make strategic decisions on who we work with as far as international partners, and always making sure that all of our international customers are taken care of.
Yeah, absolutely. And is some other manufacturers during really heightened times of sales in the U.S. They won't so much neglect international sales, but they won't put as much into it. One thing that I'm really proud of that Glock has always done is we've always valued and maintained that perception of importance for our international customers, so that regardless of what's happening with sales in the U.S., we still give our international partners that adequate support, and that's really allowed us to not just maintain our international presence, but grow it. And I'm really looking forward to seeing where we can go.
A minute ago, we were interviewing Shelby Lassiter, our director of marketing and business development. He said something that I really loved, and it was people first, perfection always.
Yeah.
And I think everything you're saying now just re-solidifies, that exact statement that he made.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So with you talking about, our global entities, we have this map behind us. Is there any way we can show the audience some of the different locations of some of our partners that we work with?
Of course.
Cool.
So of course we have our sales office in Deutschwagram, Austria. That's with our factory. So it's on the kind of the eastern side of Austria. They obviously handle all of the sales to the EU, some various other countries scattered throughout the world, and then of course we are their customer also. We have a satellite office in Bratislava, Slovakia, which is just kind of a short train ride from Deutschwagram.
Been there.
Yep. We have a sales manager in Ontario, Canada. He's been there for many years. He's responsible for all of commercial and law enforcement sales in Canada, which is a really big, vast territory.
Yes, it is.
And it's kind of common knowledge, kind of the market share of Glock with the LE market in the U.S., but in Canada, we kind of float between 85 and 90% of market share with law enforcement, which I think is pretty incredible. We've had a couple of different sales offices in Latin America that services Latin America all the way up through Mexico, and then of course the Caribbean. That office now is in Panama, and we have a sales office in Dubai. And one thing that really sets us apart globally is our international sales managers. So they are Glock employees. They have decades of experience, and they work with, like we spoke about, a wide network of really knowledgeable, really specialized representatives and importers who, we've got, I think, hands down the best international sales team in the industry. And by far, they are what makes us so successful on the international side.
I want to go back to something you said about Canada. Like you said, it's common knowledge to know what the market share for the United States is, but Canada, you said 85 to 90%. That's insane and absolutely incredible.
Yeah, and then when you look at the diversity, not just in Canada, but in everywhere. Our sales managers, it's not like we don't have a sales manager for every country, but we know how to pick the right partners there, because obviously you can't, and this is something that I've learned in my job, become kind of the queen of diplomacy. You can't work with special operations in Colombia the same way that you would work with a competitive shooter in the Philippines.
Right.
So really having the right partners to be that face for you there, but then having the ability to learn. Learning goes both ways.
Right.
I learned so much from our international partners, and then, of course, they learned from us also. It's a great partnership that we have, and it's something I'm really, really proud of.
Well, I can honestly say I'm super proud to be a part of this whole company. I know I've learned a ton today. I can imagine they have also learned a ton today, especially when we start discussing what our presence is globally. So thank you so much for doing this interview with us today.
Thanks,
I really
Shane.
appreciate it. And I know they are going to love this.
Great.
So,
happy to help.
Thank you again.
Okay, take care.
So ladies and gentlemen, this is Glock Global. I know this opened up my eyes to a lot of information about our global presence, and I think to better understand that, it's important to know where we came from and have a bright vision of where we're going in the future, and I really believe this helps us pave that way. Now, if you're watching this video before May 4th, this will be your entry for our grand prize this month, which will be a G19 Gen 5, and also one more entry to our grand prize, which will be announced in December. Now, next month, stay tuned because we are going to have a never before seen interview. So make sure and watch for all rules and regulations. Visit Glock35th.us, and we will see you next month.